Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to this, our Thanksgiving edition of the Clay and Woodrow Show. And right off the bat, need to announce special guest in studio today, none other than my daughter, Neeley Thomas, in studio. Welcome, Neeley.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Either way, you can welcome me.
Yep.
That's fine. I know being in the big studio can be nerve-wracking.
I know, my hands are a little sweaty.
This is Hollywood at its finest. Thanksgiving edition of the Clay and Woodrow Show here in the Omar Oliver Studios here on the 17th floor of this fine establishment. We need to name our the actual building that we're in. So we're going to work on that. I'm addressing my producer over here, producer Don Mattingly. Any questions that you have today, you can just hit him up at DonnieBaseball@myspace.com. DonnieBaseball@myspace.com is his email address. Thanks once again for Donnie Baseball being in studio with us today. And as well, just a couple of housekeeping items is Megan's Boutique will be our sponsor today. Somewhere in this area over here. And then as well, as you can imagine, and the folks at Megan's don't need to take this the wrong way, but that was not my choice of sponsor. Neeley got to pick. And so Neeley
Shout out to my girls at Megan's.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that girls at Megan's, I will say that roughly 25% of my income goes to Megan's. So we do need to send a shout out.
But mostly through my mother, not through me.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said that your mother paid Megan's.
No. You definitely paid Megan's, but my mother gets the most.
That might be true.
Yes.
That might be true. And nothing like a good Thanksgiving throwing mom under the bus to start off our show. Thank you. I appreciate that. So we're going to just kick things off here. And just remind you, if you want to always, you can tune in to right above Neeley would be the Woodrow camera, as you can see. And Woodrow is... once again, he's our statistician. He's at the keyboard today looking up sports stats as they come in moment by moment. So I just want to run through a little bit of football and some football scenarios going on. As I click over and look at the coaches poll, once again, what we've been doing is just seeing kind of the question, do we have any major problems with the coaches poll? I can live with LSU still at 1, Ohio State at 2 is fine with me as well. Clemson at 3 is still somewhat of a heartache for me just because of their strength of schedule, but that's probably where they deserve to be. Now, I would switch Alabama. I would drop them to 6. I'd put Utah at 5, and then if Alabama's able to beat Auburn, I'd bump them back up to 5 next week. I'm okay with that. The only changes that I would probably see is I would flip-flop, and just so you guys are keeping up at home, I would put Oregon at 11 ahead of Penn State and Michigan. But I think everybody can kind of live with the coaches poll right now. We'll see how the other polls come out in the upcoming days. At the end of the day, all we care about is Georgia football, and if Georgia wins, they're in. If they don't win, they're not in. So that's a pretty simple system to go by. But what I wanted to do today, Neeley, and by the way, Neeley, feel free to jump in anytime that you'd like as we discuss football. I want to go over some things that I've been hearing that have been a little bit disappointing. And before I start, I will say unusually warm in the studio today. Don't know why, but unusually warm
100%
today in the studio. But a couple of kind of true-false scenarios and things I've been hearing that are bothering me. And so the first question that getting with Georgia football is this whole notion that is Jake Fromm regressing. And the fact of the matter is, statistically speaking, I'm sure he's regressing, but we've got to remember that some cats named Miko Hardeman, J.J. Holloman, Terry Godwin, Isaac Nalda aren't on the field with them. Those guys, for the most part, took their talents to Sundays at the NFL, so he lost NFL receivers, and he now has a bunch of freshmen who are just now learning their name, and his most productive receiver with experience is a guy named Lawrence Cager, and he's been hurt on and off the whole season. So certainly that has a lot to do with his productivity.
Can I ask a question for the ladies? Jake Fromm is our quarterback, right?
Jake Fromm is our quarterback. That is correct.
The person who runs the ball?
So when you do your arm motion like this, that typically indicates passing of the ball. So yes, he does throw the ball quite a bit. Okay. So Jake Fromm, thank you for keeping the ladies in touch.
Yep, you're welcome, girls.
Jake Fromm is our quarterback. And so now everybody's upset with him. The wheel route to Brian Herrien, I'll be honest, he missed it. Don't have a lot of excuses for Jake. He missed that pass. The flea flicker, I'm still not so certain of. I think George Pickens kind of gave up on his route a little bit. So true false. Is Jake Fromm regressing? True, statistically he is, but I also say, but for a good reason, I think that's somewhat outside of his control. The second thing is this notion has our offense taking a step backwards with Jim Coley being at the helm. Once again, the answer has got to be, well, statistically speaking, it is true. We have taken a step back, but now keep in mind the people that are wanting to run Jim Coley out of town are the same people that wanted to run Jim Chaney out of town, the same people that want to run Mike Bobo out of town. And so I just kind of discredit all of those people. You can't look at Chaney and Bobo's numbers and say that they were bad offensive coordinators. Those folks that do just don't understand football. I will say I do think sometimes our offensive productivity is down because our defense is so good. And so our offense in such a way plays to a manner to make sure that it keeps our defense in the game. And I'll be honest, I can live with that. The last time I checked, we were winning games, Neeley. Winning games and moving forward, pressing forward. And Jake Fromm still is our quarterback as he passes the ball. I think people just still have hard feelings over the South Carolina game. And
like you.
Yes.
That would be a good example.
Yeah, I might have left the house.
Yes.
I might have drove off.
He literally left the house. We looked out the window and we can see. But didn't forget the dog. He brought the dog with him.
I took the dog with me, and you just saw tail lights about the fourth quarter. I needed to get my composure together. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of what's going on there. Listen, we built an offensive system around having a large offensive line that can and running backs and tight ends that can pound the ball, that can chew the clock, that can flip the field, and we're doing all of those things. So you can't build an offense that way and then expect to have 35-point blowouts in SEC games. This is how we're designed. This is how we're built. Our defense is going to win championships for us. So just kind of hold on. The last thing that I will tell you is, the reason that Jake Fromm is singled out is because the average person at home, the only position, and I'm going to pick on you for a second, Neeley, it might be the only position that they're familiar with or that they can follow is the quarterback position. If people had more football intellect, they would also be saying things like, if Richard LeCount had more eye discipline, we would have given up 21 less points than we've given up this year. And that's a true statement. Richard LeCount has cost us as a team 21 points. Now, our starters have only given up around 85 points. Richard LeCount has given up 21 of those points. That's roughly 25% of our points a single man has given up on defense, and no one is posting comments about Richard LeCount. For the most part, that is, people can understand what a quarterback does, and they don't understand what a safety does. And so at the end of the day, I think Georgia is just fine, and we need to just hang in there and let our defense be our defense and let them take us as long as we can go. And by the way, Richard LeCount's a phenomenal football player, and he'll play in the NFL one day. But so will Jake Fromm. But why don't we point these things out, Neeley, about Richard LeCount that we do about Jake Fromm? Any thoughts or insight on that?
No, I think you covered it very well.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing as well.
Okay. So, Neeley, I have for just a second, and I'm scared to do this because I've not looked at your answers, but I did want to ask you cover up your homework. Who are your top four? Who's going to be in the playoffs? Let me hear your top four.
So, number one, we have Mercer.
Okay. Do you need to finish, or can I interject?
You can go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead. So my daughter Neeley, who somehow or another has slipped into the gifted program at the Ware County School System, has Mercer playing in the Final Four, and Mercer just.
But see, I'm not a fair weather fan like some other of us.
But granted, that's not the question we're asking. The question we're asking is who's going to be in the top four. Mercer, Neeley, just so you know, finished 3-8 and just fired their coach. I think it's unlikely that they'll be in the top four, but go ahead. And by the way,
I'm a believer. So.
By the way, and I appreciate that. Yeah. By the way, while you're at it, and I appreciate this. This is a good transition. And once again, extremely hot in the Omar Oliver studio. Extremely hot.
Yes.
Mercer, by the way, Mercer, look right here. Here's your three coaches you choose from. You go to Phillip Jones at Brookwood, and you ask him, sir, would you be our coach? If he says no, you go to Glenn Schumann at the University of Georgia, the inside linebackers coach, and you say, sir, would you be my coach? And then number three, if those two won't be your coaches, you go to Chris Hatcher at Samford, and you say, sir, will you be our coach? Mercer, I'm not a consulting company. You don't have to pay me for this research, but those are your three guys. Let's cut to the chase. Let's go get Philip Jones. And you should take me seriously by this. All right, Neeley, number two.
Number two, also Georgia. I think Georgia has. I mean, I'm a Georgia fan.
All right, I like that.
I think Georgia has to be in there. Number three, I'm going to go with Clemson just for Rachel, which is Mr.
Carol Hurlong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're welcome for that one.
You realize they play absolutely no one. Clemson, like they literally on their schedule have played Baptist Village and Lee Hardware softball team.
Well, they're doing pretty good because they're number 3 right now.
Okay, all right, keep going.
Number four, Boise State.
Yeah. Why would you pick Boise State?
I like their name. It's unique. It's different. It's out there.
It bothers me as a father because it has the word boys in it. That's not part of it at all, is it? Because if so.
That made no sense. What is?
No, you said boys. I thought because
like
it said boys.
B-O-Y-S?
Yeah, boys, and that makes me nervous. I thought that's why you picked it.
No, like
Boise. Okay.
Yeah,
all
I
right.
like their name. So those are my top 4.
All right, remind me to not allow you to share your top 4 ever again. No, I appreciate it. It was good. It was good stuff. And so, Neeley, now what you have asked for today is for us to kind of change roles. And for the end of this, you kind of host, all right? And I'm going to kind of be your guest.
Yes.
And we're going to now make it the Neeley and Woodrow show. All right, let's check, first of all, to make sure that Woodrow is okay with this.
I see thumbs up.
Yeah, pause up from Woodrow. All right, Neeley, take over. You're the host.
Okay.
What you got?
So the first thing I would like to talk about is my dear father. He is up for the Jot 'em Down and DK's Barbecue Father of the Year award.
I'm very proud of that.
Yes.
I'm a finalist.
Yes,
I'm just a finalist.
A finalist. But I think 100%. You'll get it.
Thank you, darling.
And so you have a lot of strengths, like a lot of good qualities that a father should have.
I feel like a butt is coming.
Yes,
but okay.
Your weaknesses are also very, very present. So I thought we could just touch on those.
Okay.
So that maybe I could help you. So this is just kind of like a sit down.
Okay, so you're going to kind of strengthen my application.
Yes.
For Father of the Year.
Yes.
Mind you, the Jot 'em Down DK's Barbecue Father of the Year.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. So first we're going to talk about the problem every year that we have.
Okay.
Maybe y'all know the direction we're going in right when school time rolls around.
I feel like I know where this is going.
Yes, every year. See, me and my mom we get joy from going school supply shopping, and he does not like for us to go. He does not see why we can't just reuse our stuff. And
because folders don't have a 1-year lifespan.
Anyways.
Okay. Mr. Producer, have you ever used a notebook for more than 365 days? Just between me and you. I'm getting thumbs up from the producer, but go ahead. That's Donnie Baseboard.
When you use it every day, it gets like you just need a new one just to refresh the year.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So every year, the school supply shopping starts off with the same speech. See, back in my days, all we needed was a trapper keeper and some number 2, not those mechanical number 2 pencils, but the regular wooden pencils. That's how it starts every year.
You've hijacked my show. I'm about to take it back over from you. First of all of a sudden when you mock me, I become like a toothless redneck. I don't speak like that. Now, you do make good points.
Anyway.
Back in my day, all I needed was a trapper keeper and some number 2 pencils.
See, what was your school called? Alice Street?
Alice Street Eagles.
We don't go to Alice Street anymore.
Go Eagles.
Okay. Moving away.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the drive-through.
Excruciatingly hot in the studio. Go ahead. We're
going to talk about the drive-through experiences that we have together. Every single drive-through, he does not. I don't know if it's his age or.
I'm a fairly young man.
You're getting up there. I don't know if it's his age or what it is, but he does not know how to behave at a drive-through. He's very impatient, and like the poor people that are trying to deal with him, like they're just trying to do their job. And like,
no, that's not it.
It's not that you're rude, but you just.
It's not. They're not being. It's you guys. So you and your mama
We tell you the order. Like right before we get there, we tell you the order. Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to defend myself. Can we get to specifically the Dunkin' Donuts?
Yes.
You guys asked for the manager's special and then tell the manager what their special should be. The manager's special is a predetermined set of donuts that they already have. And they're just like, we're going to give you a strawberry. We're going to give you. So you guys order the manager's special.
I'm sorry, but that is false.
Okay,
that is false. Every time we go to Dunkin' Donuts, I order the Munchkins, the donut holes, glazed and chocolate. 5 glazed, 5 chocolate. And that is a bit... Daddy just doesn't know how to.
Are you denying the fact that we had a fiasco over the manager's special one time?
That was like one time.
And y'all tried to ask for the manager's
because
special.
Because every time we go to Dunkin' Donuts and ask for the manager's special, we get it. We get it, and there's no problem.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay.
So I need to be good about this criticism.
Yes.
I'm not coming off my stance.
Yes.
Mr. Producer, I'm not coming off my stance on school supplies. If the Ware County Board of Education wants me, Mr. Producer, if they want me to volunteer to bring some Clorox wipes, I'll bring you a truckload of Clorox wipes. But if you put it on your list as mandatory, I'm throwing a flag. That's a 15-yard penalty.
There's like a teacher's wish list down at the bottom.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyways, okay, the biggest one.
I didn't bring Clorox wipes. I didn't bring Clorox wipes to Alice Street. I'm just letting you know, Mr. Producer. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I've interrupted you.
The biggest one that I think we should work on is the budget.
Okay.
Okay, our budget.
Mm-hmm.
Not that not having a budget, like having a budget is good.
Yeah, because that will ensure that you get a college education. You mean that budget?
Anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
So every time I feel like I need to ask you for something, like money to get something, and let's just keep in mind, I don't go a lot of places. Like I don't go out to the mall and
that's true.
Hang out with my friends and go to the movies. I'm more of a homebody.
That's
so
true.
Just think of all that money you're saving of like me not going places.
Yes, you dress very conservatively.
Yes, I do. I do not require a lot. I wear the same outfit basically every day.
As you churn butter.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So I feel like before I ask you that I need something, I feel like I have to present you with a PowerPoint.
Spreadsheet would be fine. PowerPoint, yeah.
Like even like if it's something like face wash, I get nervous to go ask you because I feel like I need this whole big layout of why I need it, like what it's going to do for me, all this different kind of stuff. And it's kind of a bit much.
Okay, so is it possible? Now listen, I just will not win the Jot 'em Down DK Barbecues Father of the Year if I have to give up on my march to freedom about school supplies. But I will grant you on the other two, my behavior and conduct at a drive-through, I will work to improve upon. And then my willingness to listen openly about your budgetary needs, I will listen very openly about those two things. If I did those two things, school supplies and the ridiculousness of that list being off the table, would I peak into the victory of the Father of the Year?
I do believe so.
Okay.
And if not, you'd be a close second.
Okay. Now,
yes.
on your list, any strengths or weaknesses that you're working on? Anything?
About me?
Yeah, yes. I just while you were working on a list.
Last year, I don't know if you remember, but I actually won the Daughter of the Year.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
See, I don't have that recollection.
And so I actually get to crown the new daughter this year.
Okay.
So I think I'm good.
Okay, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So, summary for today, Mr. Producer, is one. Excuse me, Mr. Producer. I need to make better eye contact with you. All right. Number one is kids need a trapper keeper and a couple number 2 pencils.
If you were in high school these days.
You can't talk during the summary. This is the part of the show that I take back over.
Okay.
Number one, because I'm educating our producer, Donnie Baseball, Mr. Donnie Baseball producer. Number one, all kids need is a trapper keeper and a couple number 2 pencils. K through 12. That's all they need. Okay. Number 2, Mercer's not going to be in the college playoffs. However, they're going to go talk to Philip Jones tomorrow about becoming their football coach. Number 3, I've made a commitment to conduct myself in a Christ-like manner when I go through a drive-through. Number 4, I would like to say as well, is that we've got to check to the thermostat and to the Omar Oliver studio, because for some reason today, unlike other days,
It's a little toasty.
it's a little toasty.
Yeah.
A little toasty in the Omar Oliver studio today. We're out of town. We're out of time for today because Neeley's got to go back. She's still got some butter to churn back at the house. We're out of town today. Out of time today, and we'd just like to say to all of you, we hope that you have a happy Thanksgiving with your family, and we just really appreciate you tuning in to the Clay / Neeley and Woodrow show. Have a great day.